What's up, everybody? It is the 33rd episode of The Pursuit of Sound with Dblcrwn podcast, and today I have in my good friend from Myrtle Beach, Ethan, aka DJ XTC. How you doing, dude?
Dude, amazing. Thank you for having me for this underground party. Shout out Import, all the guys that are putting this on, Graham, shout out Dblcrwn for letting me come out. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Ethan came down for the big show at Purple Buffalo tonight, with all those artists plus way more. Should be a really good time, and we've been anticipating this for a long time. And yeah, Ethan was at he DJ'd Dancefestopia with us when we all went out there, so that was a really good experience. We got to become friends and bond through that music festival, so that was it was a really special time, man, and I wouldn't have had it with anybody else, dude. Seriously.
For having you at that festival was the best thing ever. It was so funny. We were in charge of judging the festival. We were the judges for that Dancefestopia tour that Philip won. And I was talking to the guy that was running it. I was like, what happens if there's just some dude that comes out of the fucking woodworks and just takes it? And Philip just shows up that night, sauces everybody out of the whole competition. And we're like, yeah, we just clicked from there. It was like fate in a way. It was so cool.
Dude, yeah. It was a good night, man. And yeah, it was either me or Pleiad basically to win that one, and I was just like, dude, the fact that was a thing, I was like, damn, dude. And we all got to go out and we all got to DJ at Dancefestopia. Freaking unbelievable, man. Such good times. And what was I thinking? Yeah, so he came over last night, drove down from Myrtle Beach, and pretty much was supposed to do this podcast last night, but I ended up getting a last minute gig at Silver Dollar, and so he came along. I helped run the lights and do some DJing, and oh my god, it's such a funny, terrible story. My girlfriend forgot her keys to her house, and I had to give her keys. So she lives right down the street from Silver Dollar, so my idea was I'm gonna haul ass, just run and give her the key. I was trying to save time by going through a parking lot instead of on the street blocks, and it turns out I busted my ass on the gravel pretty darn bad. My knee is super messed up, and my hands too, kind of looking like Jesus. Canceled.
Yeah.
But we always we released a track together.
Yeah.
For that it was a remix competition that Illenium hosted. Yeah, for the song Back to You. And what was it we got?
We took 75th out of 500 in our category, and probably over 50,000 producers. There was probably no less than 20,000 in that competition.
It's crazy that we ranked even 75. So that was really cool. And that we just, yeah, you can go check that remix out. It's on all streaming platforms. Just type in Dblcrwn as you would, and then XTC. 3 letters for DJ XTC right here, and type in Back to You is the name of the song, and yeah, you'll find us. It's a fun one. It's kind of like future bass meets kind of rhythm,
almost like future dubstep in a way. We really pushed the genre, and I think that's why we stood out so much.
Future dubstep, I like that a lot. Damn,
somebody's got to pioneer the new sound. I think that's what we really did on that track. I remember sitting down talking to you. We got we sent it out to all of our friends in the community, and everybody was like, are you sure you want to do it like that? And I called Philip that day, and I was like, I like the sound, I like what you did, I like what I did. What if we just go for it and we just be us? And 75 out of that many people, that's nothing to hang our heads about.
Yeah,
that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So And every time we kept in touch just ever since Dancefestopia. It was at Dancefestopia that we were like, we're gonna make a song together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Stu and I have made music, and it was just like we gotta solidify this. You can't just say let's collab, bro, and not collab.
Yeah, true.
But we kept in touch throughout ever since Dancefestopia, made the track, and then every time we'd talk on the phone, it'd be like hours could blow by, and it'd just be like, you know what, you should just be on the podcast, dude. Like, we have such good conversations, like why not have it on camera and upload it to the interwebs?
See, my thing is I was worried I'd get your podcast like canceled in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, some people have been like, dude, is there anything I shouldn't really say? I'm like, honestly, like, come on. I dare you to say something cancelable at this point. Oh my gosh, yeah. There's, you gotta watch what you say these days, but yeah, dude, I always like to sort of cover like a past, present, future basis with my guests. Like, what kind of music did you grow up listening to? Like, what did your parents like listen to when you were growing up, and like how did that end up going into listening to what you do now and DJing what you do now? And then where do you see yourself in the future?
That's a good one. I like that question. So I hate to admit this because it gives my mom so much credit. My mom was a little club girly, and she had all like the hits of like early 2000s, early 90s of like the whatever was being spun out in the clubs, and she had them all on an iTunes list. And so when I first initially started, it was like for white girl club music, and I would just go through like what I would remember was hits because I had two sisters and a mom, and so it was just white girl music all the time. And I would find these epic club remixes, and I was like, yeah, this is it. This is what they'll fuck with. And I'm DJing one of my first frat parties with Save the Universe. Shout out Stu, shout out One Sense. And he drops the most epic dubstep drop I have ever fucking heard in my life. And I saw my skull the first time I headbanged to it. And I fell in love from there. And so I just started pursuing more dubstep. Like I listened to classic, like, Martin Garrix and like everybody that built the light, I call it the light EDM scene, like the little melodic, like 128 BPM, like I want to jump and put my hands up music. And then I found dubstep through Stu, and the rest was history. I guess where I see myself in the future is the top of the game. Like, I'm going to find a way, like whether it be we pioneer future dubstep or like what, like I feel like Subtronics with his Kadama just talking about like how he knows he could do better. Like at some point we're going to look back and we're going to be like, we're at the top of the game right now.
Yeah.
I said it right here.
You got an advantage with your age too, man. Like you're like at the perfect age to start getting into all of it. I didn't really start getting into EDM like that until maybe like 26, 27 years old, basically. And so, yeah, dude, it's like, I see so much potential in you, and, you send song ideas over, and I'm like, damn, that's good, dude. Like, it's just a matter of time for you.
Dude, for us, bro. Like,
yeah, for all of us, dude. Squad up.
We're bringing the squad with me, and I tell myself all the time, whether it's me that gets it, whether it's Stu that gets it, whether it's you that gets it, it's like one goes, we go.
Yeah,
like,
dude. Amen to that. That's what we're dependent on, man. One another, especially out here in Charleston or the East Coast of South Carolina, because you're from Myrtle. It's like there's not really that big of a scene. It's like, yeah, compared to like New York or I don't even know, more locally like Charlotte or Atlanta, freaking Miami, whatever. It's very different for Myrtle Beach and Charleston, so it's kind of on the weight's on our shoulders we got to bring up the scene.
We got to put it on.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, it's like you're talking about throwing shows up in Myrtle Beach and stuff. Like, how did you? Side quest question.
Yeah.
How did you meet Stu for the first time?
So, it was kind of like, I call it fate. Like, I'm a huge believer in like fate, and like you just meet people at the right time. And I had been practicing for like 8 months at the time. I hadn't even played like a real gig yet, and I just wanted a gig so bad, and like I needed one. Like, it was just like a block mentally. Like, I just had to find a gig. Like, I knew I had something special, but I had no place to put it and like get the notoriety I so sought at the time. And one of my friends knew I was struggling pretty bad, and he knew Stu, Save the Universe. And he's like, next time you come over, I'll invite Stu. If you boys hit it off, you hit it off, but he might be able to help you out. And I met Stu there. We smoked that day. We got to talking. He took me under his wing, basically. Like, he had an established, like, bigger name. He had gotten a residency. He got me my first residency. Like, he's been taking care of me for the past 2 years, so nothing but love to Stu. But yeah, like, he showed me how to get the better remixes, how to link your SoundCloud to your board, and that took my game from like here to like here. And it was next level shit. And so he took care of me there. I got us onto the frats at campus, so he got me a gig at the bars. I got him gigs at the college, and we just took care of each other, and we just grew. Like,
I love that. Who was the friend? Is it a friend that I know? That
it's James.
Oh, James.
It's James.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, yeah. And James was out there at Dance Fest with us. What an awesome guy. He's talented too. He's a rapper, a really good one at that rate.
He's got such a unique style. Like,
yeah,
like really nothing I've ever heard. Like,
yeah, go listen to Comedian by James. You find his music by basically typing in James, which is Ayyames.
So that's how you spell it.
Yeah.
I was looking the other day.
2 Y's. Yeah, James. And then Comedian. He sent me that one to master up, so I did a little mastering on it, and yeah, it's out now. Very verbose rapper, raps very fast, intelligent flow.
It's almost like next level in a way. Like, I can't follow his flow sometimes, but I know it's like he's still on.
Yeah.
Like, it's very interesting. Like, I call him out too. He sends me his songs all the time, and I'm like, bro, you're bullshitting on this track. He's like, the fuck you mean I'm bullshitting? And I'm like, dude, you're just bullshitting on this track. That's why this one time he dared me to rap on one. It was the worst thing ever.
Oh,
he's
my
like,
gosh.
who's bullshitting now?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's so easy to give criticism. Hey, try it yourself.
Yeah.
Yo, I got bars.
Foreign cars.
Yeah. Rap.
Gold chains and bitches.
Actual lyrics. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, he put some respect on those tracks.
No, he did.
Yeah.
But what really got you into EDM and dubstep? Like, you said you didn't get into like you were 26, 27, right?
Right. So it was actually I worked at this restaurant called Papa Zuzu's, and the dude that I'm going back to back with tonight,
Yeah.
his DJ name is Domino, and his real name's Tim Ship. I was working with him like in the kitchen and stuff. Him and our other friend who is currently a DJ as well. His name's Clark.
Okay.
Clark's parents own the restaurant, and so we all just kind of became friends. And they were listening to EDM like that, and then I was sort of just like, overhearing every now and then. I'm just be like, I think I kind of like this stuff. Like, kind of started out more like in the trap realm. Like, back then it was a lot of that kind of style
Like
going
Borgor.
on. Yeah,
he
like
was the head.
some dubstep. I wasn't really a fan of dubstep at first. I like Troy Boy a lot, Tin Cup. Those were like the top two when I first started getting into it. And then, then all of a sudden I found out that you can DJ and you can play these songs out, and that DJing is a thing. And I was just sort of like, I'm like a little taken aback, because I hadn't really been familiar with that side of the music industry. I'd growing up playing in bands and stuff, and so it was just like, well, I mean, dang, you just push some buttons on a DJ controller basically, and you can just go out there and fucking do your damn thing. It's like, all right, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
And kind of, well, I feel like I started producing first, and then, yeah, that's basically how all that happened. Yeah, you can shut that.
Yeah.
That's basically how all that happened. And yeah, it's cool because those people, like I said, they're still DJing. Domino, he's doing it real good now. He's coming out with a bunch of new music and stuff. Clark his shtick right now is playing saxophone and DJing. He's kind of like a local Grizz.
Oh, cool. Ride the wave.
Yeah, he's in the wedding band too that I'm in.
That's what's up.
Yeah. But yeah, we got a little bit more time. Obviously, it's only been it's been like 15 minutes. We got a good 45 more minutes until we have to go to pick up In Orbit Dubs from the airport. He's flying in from Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, we got a bunch of out-of-town artists on the show tonight. Yeah, Something Strange is, I think he's from like Philadelphia, Prisms, Atlanta, Import, Denver.
You guys are flying out a lot of people. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's like 4. Chomp is from Philadelphia. Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 people that are being flown out. So, yeah, hats off to Grim and Dreadnought for, making all that happen. It's not cheap, but yeah. Well, I want to just ask you some random questions. What is? Oh my gosh, we were talking about Eric Andre's podcast bombing, where he kind of talks about the fails, like what your biggest fails are. What was your biggest DJ fail? I hate to ask it, but
no,
it's kind of juicy question.
It was the turning point in my story. Like, it's funny too, because prior to this, I was manifesting to play a rave. Like, I wanted to play an underground rave in my first year. I had no idea how it was going to happen. And sometime in that year, I met Stu around that time. He had just been putting on his second underground party. And it was in this warehouse in the middle of, like, Myrtle Beach. It was just in the heart of it. And I had never messed up on a set before. I never had a bad set. Never even got anxious before a set. And I made the brilliant idea of getting high before my set. And like 10 minutes before I go on stage, I'm like ripping this joint, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fucking great. Turns out the rappers that came to perform there got put on before me, and the energy was so different. And so we had half a rap crowd, half an EDM crowd, and I'm like, okay, I gotta try and full circle and pull everybody together. So I start and rap, then I hit like a funky transition to try and spin it like towards more of a housey vibe. And it was just so hard to get people on board, and it was just not a great set. I was so high. I almost didn't get on stage. I got so nervous. Like, I had a little panic attack in my car. Like, it was one of my roughest performances. Ironically, I did what I was supposed to do. I reset the vibe entirely. I got everybody on the dubstep train. I got everybody wanting EDM. And by that time, my set was over, and it was time to hand it over to Stu and Dom at one sense. So, but I took it pretty personally. I went home that week. I completely disappeared from my friend group. So I'm like, I can't have that again. Like, I fell in love with being on that stage and like the pressure and the energy and just everything about it. But I never want to perform like that again. And so I really stopped getting fucked up before my sets. Now it's get fucked up in the middle of the set.
Yeah, one thing I can't really do anymore is smoke weed before a set. That's just too much. I'll have some beers on stage, but yeah, it's not. I mean, a lot of other people will do that, but I'm kind of just like, do your thing, man. And so, what's one of your best successes with this being on stage?
Honestly, it had to be at the Dancefestopia
Road
tour. we were judging it, and Stu and I also wanted to compete, but with the way the contract worked out with the people that were running Dance Fest, is the judges aren't allowed to compete, which makes sense, and they didn't trust anybody else to do the sound. They didn't know anybody else out there, so they put us in charge. But what we did is we made sure there was a little half hour left at the end of the night to where we could go and chop up, and so one of the biggest tricks I'm going to be known for is being able to chop behind my back, and that was the first time I debuted it like live, and it absolutely went off. And like Stu gave me a shout out, the crowd was going crazy, Pleiad was like tripping balls, you were tripping balls, like everybody was like, what the fuck?
How do you do that? I haven't seen that before. Mixing behind your back.
Yeah,
that's a good signature move right there. Can't lie. You'll got to see it in person. I'm just like, and he's like, you know, hitting the volume faders like up and down behind his back and stuff. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how?
There's gonna be a point where like we try and take that to the next level. Like we were talking about it. You were like, don't be mad if I steal that. I was like, bro, what if we do like a 4-way chop of like I'm on 1 and 3, you're on 2 and 4, and it's like we just memorize our spots. Like,
yeah,
that was kind of the trick on how I did it. Is I have hot cues landed all the way back. It's like almost like 30 bars back. And I just make sure they're lined up as they come in and just get set up and ready to do the chop. Like, that's like the secret behind it. But
yeah, and you just know the songs in your head. Know. So, yeah, you're like, all right.
You just memorize your chop.
It's brilliant. Yeah. Tim was over mixing the other day, and he was showing me about, like, how he will just play 2 songs at once, but, like, in the same key.
Okay.
And how some work out, like, where it can really just be played at the exact same time. And I'm just like, it doesn't seem like it should really work like that, but it actually does. And like, he might like bring back like the bass like the bass EQ like just a little bit, but nothing too crazy on the EQs to make it work. It's just some songs fit together really well. But yeah, what are some funny, just random questions? Like, it's an easy one. What's your favorite food?
Oh, lately? I couldn't tell you. Egg sandwiches, 100%. Like, just bacon, egg, and cheeses. Like, I'm from the north. We grew up on those, and there's none good around me, so I have to make my own, but that's a good one. What about you?
I really like egg sandwiches too. Like for breakfast, I usually have that for breakfast. But outside of that, like, I don't know. I like a good, I like scalloped potatoes a lot recently. Those are pretty darn good, especially when my lady makes them. Or cauliflower wings.
Yeah, those are good.
Oh my god, especially if they're done right. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
While we're on the side quest train, I heard Station Underground and all of Charleston had like the best parties like back in the day. Like Stu used to tell me there was like the most epic underground warehouse parties around here. Were you a part of any of those, or do you have any wild stories from that?
You're talking about Station Underground?
Well, like, that's what he called it at the time. It was like Purple Buffalo back before it like really like got its name. There was these like underground parties Stu would tell me about. I don't know if you and Stu had ever like gone to one of those, or if that's how you guys met, or...
I feel like, no, yeah, him and I met through, I can't really remember right now, but as far as the whole underground thing, there was like back in the day, like when I was probably like in high school, there was a thing called Culture Clash.
Okay.
That was held at like a big warehouse in like kind of North Charleston area, like kind of downtown, kind of North Charleston. And that had like, I miss Culture Clash. That had so much cool stuff. Like, it was a big ass warehouse, and I guess somebody either rented it out or just had it. And I mean, talk about like live art everywhere, just so much art. And then there was bands that would play too, and there might have been DJs too. I just don't really remember. I was probably like 17 years old, and that was like, I the only thing like that I really went to like during that time period. But I'll be damned if I don't miss Culture Clash, dude. They should definitely do another one. And yeah, since then it's been like Purple Buffalo and stuff like that. So yeah, I wasn't really into the warehouse scene like that. It was really mostly like I was all about like the band scene.
You got any cool band stories from like...
Oh my gosh, there's so many funny, just like random stories. Like, oh my gosh, like, what do I say? Man, there's, where do I even begin? Like, there's just so many fun times that we had. Like, we would tour, like, every now and then. Like, I've been on a coast-to-coast tour before. That one, yeah, like, when I was, like, 18, we pretty much, like, started out here in Charleston, went all the way out to, what was it, Orange County? What was the name of the place that we played in California? I forget, but yeah, that was a doozy. I'm trying to remember some specifically funny stories. I mean, there's just so many. It's hard to remember those things. It's just kind of all blur now. We didn't really cut up too bad. There's certain stories that I'm thinking of that I can't really say because I don't know if somebody's watching.
Fair.
That would be upset by whatever I want to tell this one story, but I just can't.
You guys never had a girl try to weasel her way into the band, right? Nothing like that, where those normal band cliches happen?
Oh my gosh. There was this one time where there was this girl that I dated like when I was like 17 probably, and I don't really want to say her name, but
no names, just 17.
Yeah, it was in that time frame, and she was wanting to sing, and like just kind of being like, I was already in the band at the time, and I think we didn't have a vocalist at that point, I don't think, or did we? I think she was either trying to be the second vocalist and like have it be like a girl guy singing kind of type of thing, or what, but yeah, because Deslin was the singer at that point, and I don't know, man, it was just like where she can't really sing, and it's like a part of you wants it to work, but a part of her can't make it work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a new memory unlocked right there. I forgot about that.
I've been dying to ask you that question ever since you told me you were in a band. I'm like, I wonder if he's got any funny band stories. Like, I feel like wild shit happens when you're in a band. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I mean, we would just do regular jokey stuff. Like, I remember on tour we would go get like Taco Bell or like some drive-through, and pretty much like go through the drive-through. Somebody would get out and go inside and be like, "Oh, you forgot like my like
chalupa,
2 burritos." Yeah, and we would just get free food like that. And then also, oh my god, this one is like not really pertaining to the band exactly, but my singer at the time, Deslin, he plays drums in Gods. Him and I would do this thing. It was so stupid. We had like this whole idea about beating the system in general, like, yeah, like getting free food from fast food restaurants by like making up a story, or like one of our things is that we would go it's so stupid. We would go to hotels in the morning and get their continental breakfast. Just like, why free food? Like, like Desmond would come over early in the morning and be like, "All right, you still have your pajamas on? Good. Let's get in the car." We'd just like roll up to like a freaking, I don't know, like a Holiday Inn, and just walk out of the car into the fucking Just directly in our pajamas, dude. It's so stupid. Just load up on their continental breakfast.
Some continentals are shit, and other ones you're really getting a fucking steal on those. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, the worser ones will just be, like, cereal and, like, bagels
Watery.
and cream cheese.
watery eggs.
Ew, yeah.
So what got you started with podcasting? Like, I know you listened to a lot. Was that, like, your inspiration for, like, starting your own? Or was it, like, just a good way to keep content?
Yeah, it was pretty much like... I don't even know how I started getting into podcasting right now. It's like, not gonna lie, it's kind of hard to like keep a one-track mind right now. My knee hurts so fucking bad. But it's it was I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and I was just sort of like, you know, I could do this. I want to do it. It just was one of those things that I felt like I could do, and it's, you know, it's slowly coming along. You know, this is episode 33. I was doing them like pretty often there, and then it just sort of like, I don't know, it'd be more time in between releases because just doing other shit in life, like literally gigs and producing new music. But yeah, just started out listening to podcasts, and I still do. I love podcasts so much. I think it was probably like conspiracy podcasts or something that I started out listening to, and then yeah, there's a few music podcasts that are out there, like Taboo. I don't know if you've heard of Taboo, the producer.
No.
He's a really good producer, and he's kind of like, he reminds me of, you know who Theo Von is, the comedian?
Yeah.
Like with the mullet?
Yeah.
He reminds me of like Theo Von, but in the music industry.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he's kind of like that too, like kind of like country-ish and like...
Out his mind? Because Theo Von's out of his mind. Like,
yeah. Dude, yeah, Theo Von is different.
Theo Von is just...
He's truly cut from a different cloth. Like,
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. That mullet, there's something in that mullet.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, what's your favorite and why?
Oh, dang. That's a good one. What's my favorite conspiracy theory? Ooh, I don't know. My favorite might be something around, like, there's so many, but maybe around CERN. I don't know if you've heard of CERN.
The particle collider.
Yeah. It's like in Europe. It's like this underground particle collider. It's like a big ring, like gigantic, like underground ring that they basically shoot particles and they collide at a certain point there. I mean, this thing is like miles and miles and miles and miles big. It's gargantuan, and people say that when they basically collide these particles together, it makes like sort of like mini black holes, things that could be potentially dangerous to our dimension, like weird stuff that you wouldn't believe. It's just like, hey, like it could cause like time rifts, like all these weird things. And I think one of my favorites just might be that, about that, and like the Mandela effect. Like, imagine if it created like this weird sort of alternative universe where it slightly shifted the reality that we live in. And yeah, it's kind of, it just messes with me because it's like one of those things that you still don't know about, but like those Mandela effects are certainly like I think they're kind of real.
They're a little too real sometimes. Like,
yeah.
There's, with that CERN one, the more like popular belief is that the world did end in 2012, but they used the CERN collider to jump reality.
What?
And that's how you got the Mandela effect.
What?
That's like the final step of that conspiracy theory.
Oh my gosh, I never even heard that before.
And so that's why like the weather got so much worse, just like seemingly out of nowhere. The weather just started ramping up, and like what? It's like a million times hotter than it normally has been. Like,
yeah,
like there's just weird effects. Like animals act differently now. Like migration patterns got messed up. Like there was like a whole like there's like a whole thing on it, like a step further because of CERN, like that they actually jump timelines, they jump realities. It created the Mandela effect, and now we don't know really what's going to happen here on out because of what they did.
Oh my god, I didn't even really know that about that conspiracy theory. That's blowing my mind right now.
That one's down the iceberg, like.
Yeah. What Flat Earth is also pretty up there for me. What is your favorite conspiracy theory?
So I'm not gonna say that one for the sake of the podcast and for our careers later on. So I'm gonna go with MK Ultra.
Ooh.
And astral projection. So the government went and did the Harvard LSD studies. If you know about that, you know about Ted Kaczynski and the Unabomber. But basically, they screened all these Harvard psychology students, and they weren't screening for intelligence. They were screening for who's the most like, who could be messed with the easiest, and who would have the least amount of like fallback if they messed with. And so that's how Ted Kaczynski was selected. It was through those screenings. But you fast forward a few years later, I was scrolling through TikTok, and of course it was TikTok, so I took it with a grain of salt. And there was a link to a declassified CIA document. And in high school, our teacher actually taught us how to use the CIA.gov website for research, because we were in like AP classes, so we had to write like about official like government documents and whatever.
Whoa.
And there became a way to find real declassified documents, and one of them was called the Gateway Tapes.
Okay, I've heard about this a little bit. Remind me.
So the government found out that the two hemispheres of the brain can sync up and talk to one another and become one, and that's how you can astral project easier. So the government figured out astral projection so well to a point where they were able to write documents on it, make a frequency that helps your brain, and you can just have out-of-body experiences. Like, I used to do them meticulously when I was in college. Like, I was like a sophomore, and I was experimenting with a lot of drugs and a lot of different things. And I would get high, and I would put on these Gateway Tapes, and one of these times I wake up and I'm like out of my body. I'm walking on like a golden dragon. Like, I feel like I'm Goku.
What?
Yeah, like that one episode.
Like,
back
you were
in
astral projecting?
Yeah, like I was full blown out of my body. It was my spirit body. It wasn't mine. And I'm walking along this dragon, just having a conversation with myself. And I get to the head, and I look out, and there's just this golden city. It's just pyramids everywhere. There's sphinxes. And I'm looking at this one sphinx, and I see it breathe in and sneeze, and it blows me off the dragon's back. I fall off the dragon.
What?
I fall into my body. The tape ends, and I sit up.
That's so weird.
I haven't been able to do it since.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, astral projecting is like one of those things. Like, it blows my mind that it's even real. Like, how can you go somewhere else in your mind, basically, like physically even? Like those people that work for the government that are like in like, you know, the military, like recon, where they're like, all right, we're gonna need you to astral project to like Russia and see what
if that's like the future of warfare, though?
I mean, that's basically what is like the thing is, like, and like they're like, okay, they're working on like, they'll like, you know, just be astral projecting, and it's like, all right, I see that they're working on a submarine in a warehouse, and this warehouse is near this body of water, and then they'll like literally like whatever this person says, they'll like follow through with researching. They'll like say Google Maps, like look, and they'll find like a building that fits the description of what they were saying, like near a body of water, like in this area, and get people to like look and like actually like sneak in to see if like there's things like that happening, and like there will be like exactly like, oh, there's like helicopter being made, like submarines like with, you know, bombs on them, like all that bad stuff, like, and I'm just like, how in the world, like, how do you, it's just like almost like fortune telling kind of.
In a way.
Yeah.
Like originally they used it, they said like they were able to map Mars and like see like other planets and like other dimensions, like, and I've got tons of drug stories where I'm like, you know, like that's not too far off from things I've seen, so like I believe it. Like,
crazy.
What's your favorite psychedelic story?
My favorite one?
Like best or worst memory on psychedelics?
Probably like the first time I tried. Oh man, it was probably like the time where me and my buddy Ant, we I think we ate mushrooms for like the first time, and it was like at his parents' house, and they were out of town or whatever, and we just like ate some. It came in like these little like, almost like a capsule, like you'd get a vitamin. Like we like opened it up and saw like all the it was just like all crushed up and stuff, and like we just put it on top of a Reese's and ate him. And dude, that was the funniest time ever. Like I'm pretty sure we just were like crying, laughing like for hours on end, just like everything. I remember making like a song on the dishwasher, like with the little buttons and stuff. Like they had different tones, and we were like sitting there making. It was so stupid, making music on that and just like laughing about every stupid little thing. And then his parents came home like early, like the next day or something. and yeah, that one was just like a really good time all around. How about for you?
I got a few. So my first psychedelic was DMT.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What? For your first?
That's like some dad lore right there. Like, yeah, son, come here and sit down. So you tried acid for the first time? Let me tell you, I did DMT my first time.
Yeah, dude, that's like 0 to 100. Tell me about it.
So I had friends in high school that were like good with computers, and they were getting drugs off the dark web. Like they were getting quality drugs.
The dark web.
They were just ordering them to his house, like one of my buddy's houses. And he texted me over. We had just all graduated. It's like the winter before spring semester of school. And he's like, "You want to try DMT?" And I was going through it at the time with my dad. I was like, I don't know what I want to be. Like, and he was pushing me to like law and like all these other majors. And I was like, but I'm in love with psych. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm pushed in all these directions. Like, I have to pick a direction for the rest of my life. And so we used it as like a shamanic ritual in a way. Like, we set an intent. I was like, I want to know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I want to know what I'm supposed to be doing here on Earth. Like, I need these answers, and it's killing me not to know. And so we go over to his house that night. We smoke like a butt ton of weed, of course. And we go to get ready. Like, I'm meditating. He's like guiding me, and he's like crushing up the DMT, because it comes like an amethyst rock. Like, it looks like a crystal amethyst, and you ground it up. And if it's like pure, like almost like purple, that's how you know it's like good DMT.
Oh my god!
I didn't know that. He taught me that. And so we hit it through one of like the higher quality like vape pens, to where you can put shit in the Yocan, or I call them Yocans, but I'm mispronouncing them. But we hit it through that. You take 3 hits, and on the 3rd hit, you don't even realize you took it because you're already asleep.
Oh my god!
You go
just blasted.
You black out, and so. Everybody's experience is different. Mine, I went to this completely black plane, and like I was sitting in the middle of all these stars, and like I was talking to what was God at the time, and I'm like watching myself pick my zodiac sign, like pick my parents, pick where I'm gonna be,
what?
Pick my life.
It's like you traveled back in time,
yeah, like
to the beginning of your life.
In a way, like I knew like I was gonna be born here, like this was gonna happen, like all these things had to happen, and like. On the way out, first I'm just like talking, like just to this God, and on the way out, it's almost like I had forgotten my whole trip. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And on the way out of the zone, they're like, your job is to guide, and so I pop out, and I'm like, my job's to guide. He's like, so how was your trip? I was like, my job's to guide. I'm freaking out, trying to explain this to him, but...
Oh my god, that's powerful, dude.
No, it was the most, like, beautiful trip I'd ever had. Like, it was amazing.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I remember relatively recently, I accidentally hit a bowl that had leftover Deemsters in it. I was just like, I'll just hit this really quick. And then I was just like, wait a second. No! But thankfully it was just like, it was a tiny hit, so I just got, just tickled with sensation, nothing too crazy. I've always just wanted to, do some ayahuasca and go DJ a set on ayahuasca.
Oh my god. See, I don't think ayahuasca would be a good one.
I'm kidding, dude.
Are you? Come on.
Yeah, you can't do anything when you're on ayahuasca.
Okay, that's fair.
From what I understand, yeah, you're like...
you're like too busy vomiting for
yeah,
half
exactly.
of it.
You're just like,
Are you guys
It just ruins the controller
all over the CDJs?
Oh my god, yeah, dude. Ayahuasca is one that I don't know if I'll have the balls to do that ever.
You don't think so?
Dude, I don't think so. I don't, at least right now, I have no urge to do it, but yeah.
If you were offered.
Probably not.
Really?
I'd probably have to want it, you know what I mean? Like, from deep within, like, there'd be, like, a specific purpose. You know, people can, like, do all sorts of things, like, through an ayahuasca journey, like, hey, I want to quit, like, being an angry person, or I want to quit smoking cigarettes, or
drinking, like,
or drinking too. Yeah, anything. And it's been pretty effective, as far as I've heard, towards things like that, which is interesting.
Would you ever DJ a set on psychedelics?
I already have.
Have you?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's not, like, seriously, like, where it's just, like, me and like, just DJing a party with our friends, and, you know, we had, like, some mushrooms or something like that. Yeah, like, that's completely different than, like, actually going up onto, like, a legit stage to do it. Yeah, I can't, I don't think I'll ever do that at this point. Have you?
Dude, so it's like on the list, low key. Like, I want to get big enough to where it's like almost like a Christmas kind of setting where it's like everybody's tripping balls, and like if you like, you couldn't do that at like Ultra or EDC where everybody's like really like they just want the heat, and like there is no messing up there. Like you gotta hit it hard. But like in a loving environment like Christmas or like in the woods, and everybody's like there's just that community there, I would so do it. Like I feel like that would be an amazing ride. Like if you did like a Skrillex 5-hour set, and like you pop a cap, you get the vibe, and you're just like coming up as like you peak together. Like I feel like that would be an experience.
Yeah.
Like a whole shit. Like they say like when Grizz would play, like you could feel like the love and the energy, and like I feel like you would just feel it so much more raw. Like that's what ecstasy is to me, and it's like the raw energy, the euphoria I feel when I play. That's kind of like how it became ecstasy. So
yeah, wait, explain your origin story more on your DJ name.
So it started with DJ Emergency.
Oh really?
Yeah, that was my first name, and that was not that hard. And all my friends were like, you need to get a better one if you're gonna be like serious, and I was like, all right. And so the first frat party I'm playing with, Save the Universe, we're both high out of our minds. Like we're DJing this insane frat lot, like this big frat party, and we're cleaning up, and we're carrying his subwoofer back to his car, and I'm like, what about ecstasy? He's like, bro, you gotta like take that, and like you gotta run with that, like that's hard. And then as I came to learn myself more and like really understand why that came to me, it was because it's like I'm so in love with like DJing and the energy, and like it's truly when I feel bliss and I come alive is like when that insane energy's going on, and like there's like little mosh pits, and like because I've never had like a big mosh pit before or anything like that. Like that's one of my bigger goals, but to share that energy and my experience with everybody is kind of like the key of ecstasy. Is I just want to share that with everybody.
I like that a lot. What do you think the best DJ name is out there, like from an already existing DJ?
Avicii.
Really?
Do you know what it actually means?
No.
So in Buddhism, Avicii translates to the lowest level of hell.
Are you serious?
Look it up.
That's fucked up.
It is fucked up. And it's funny, my friends used to call me Avicii, and I looked into it. I was like, why is there like a, no disrespect to the great, rest in peace, but I was like, what is the similarity? And I was looking, and it's literally the lowest cycle of Buddhist hell that you could be in. And my life was in a spiral similar to that. It was like, the only time I felt okay was when I was playing.
I wonder why he chose that, like if it's that connotation to it. Because his music is more like heaven than like hell.
Well, they say a tree that's branches want to reach heaven must have roots that go down to hell. And that's Carl Jung. So in order to have that ascended heaven state, you need to have seen hell. And like if I was watching his interviews, and like when he was touring and he was getting sick all the time, and like he just like could barely function before he committed suicide, it was he was telling, like, bro, like, I'm just, like, so dead, like, I'm so tired, and, like, everyone's just pushing me to perform, and, like, none of the people around me actually have my back. Like, they just want me to go perform, and they just want to keep their jobs.
Oh my God.
Like, when I heard that, I was like, bro, you're doing, like, 200 shows a year, but you're in hell. Like, you, as your inner reality is hell.
That's terrible.
No, it was.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely learned something new. They would call you Avicii, though, because what, you kind of look like him?
Just, like, the vibe. Like, I would always just be, like, in heaven, like, when I play. Like, you could just see there was just this euphoria in my face and around me, and, like, that's what... I guess that's, like, the closest guy to it, is Avicii was the first one to really, like, give that heaven energy on stage. I mean, like, you probably had bands like Cage the Elephant or, like, Pink Floyd who really could embody that energy through the instruments, but as for a DJ, Avicii was the first to really hit that, like, heaven state consciousness.
Damn.
And that's kind of what I want to hit. That's why, like, moving back, like, future dubstep, maybe that's what we have to aim for, is that heaven, like, if you notice, like, the light EDM, like, the Martin Garrix, like, 2018, 2016, I just want to jump, put my hands up, that euphoria doesn't really feel anymore. Like, it's not as potent as it once was. Like, there's a difference in the energy now.
Yeah,
like,
that's so true. EDM has come a long way recently. Dude, yeah, like, with the stuff that they're making nowadays, it's just ridiculous. Like, I never foresaw it getting to this point of, like, dubstep sounds and, you know, robots fucking sounds,
or
like,
saxophones, for God's sake, like,
all mixed into one.
Yeah.
So then, who's your favorite artist right now?
It's a mix right now, because, like, we were at Dance Fest and somebody gave me some really good advice, and it was, whoever your idol is, do it exactly like him. Like, find what he did successful and follow that flow, because you'll fit that niche. Like, you'll naturally make music like him. But Illenium's probably my favorite, just because, like, that melodic future bass could make angels cry. But my big criticism with Illenium is his dubstep. When he goes to make hard shit, it's not as hard as I know he could make it. Like, there's just, I hear him and I'm like, you're missing something on that hardness. Like, when you go to make it drop and, like, you try to make it slap someone's grandma, you slap someone's daughter, but I'm trying to slap 3 generations back. And, like, your whole bloodline feels it when it hits you in the face.
Oh my God, that's funny, dude. What?
Dude, he is. I can't deny, like, he's so good just as a producer, and, like, what he's been able to make is just, like, you can't take that away from him. He's so good.
Dude, yeah, Illenium he's, like, in my eyes, like, the forefather of sort of future bass.
Yeah.
As far as I know. I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of people that are making it. So I'm plugging in
you're good.
the charger for the camera.
I knew we were going to need it.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's see, we got about 10 minutes.
That flew.
Yeah, it always does.
Who's your favorite, like, top of the game, like, or who inspires you the most?
Right now, I really like Exotics. The sounds that Exotics make is just crazy. Like, Exotics and Hero Bust always does it for me.
Hero Bust is good.
Yeah, and those are, like, probably a couple of my tops right now, just to keep it short and sweet. Yeah, it's just something about Exotics, like, the sound design, it's just, like, perfectly, like, bassy and weird, technical, tasty. Like, yeah, it's just my cup of tea. I feel like if I was better at producing, I would want to sound kind of like that. Let's see, what's your favorite color?
Lately, purple. I don't know why. Like, I just, for some reason, purple. Like, it used to be blue all my life, and now it's just straight purple.
That's what's up. Purple's royalty.
Yeah. And wisdom. There's just so much around purple. And,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
my aura's been purple lately, and it's like, yeah, weirdly fell into it. How about you? What's your favorite, like, go-to color?
My favorite go-to color is black, actually.
Really?
Lately, yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It's just like as a kid, my favorite color was red, but I don't know, it's just something about black lately that I just feel like it can match with anything, you know, and yeah, black and white are my favorites. But oh, what was he gonna say? Do you have any random questions?
Like random as pertaining to the podcast, or as in random in general?
Just both, I guess.
Do you think one day trains will become irrelevant or more relevant in the future?
Trains?
Trains.
I think that...
With the future of technology.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be improved on. Like, I see it eventually phasing out of that, like, as we come up with other things, like maybe like magnetic propulsion will be like the next thing. But this, you know, it's so much construction would have to go behind that, like changing the infrastructure of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what trains are like an 1800s sort of technology, like the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, basically, and then now it's like one of the oldest looking things that we still see. Yeah. It's a good question. What if you could take a vacation right now anywhere, where would it be?
So I have this folder in my phone, and I have like all the 3 top travel apps, and I just have folders and folders of vacations I want to take when we're made and like we're the big DJs we want to be, and like we have that ability, like, oh, we're gonna be in this country this month, like, yeah, we're staying over here, like,
what? I didn't know you had it already set up.
God,
like,
yeah,
basically.
bro, manifesting it. But there's a chalet in Italy, and it's just beautiful. Like, that's where I want to go. Like,
ooh.
But I feel like I would need to have like a good girlfriend to go there with. Like, going there solo would probably be pretty depressing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, if you're going to Italy, definitely bring a romance with you.
Yeah. Or try and find one, but I'd rather bring it with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How about you? What's your like dream vacation spot?
Man, where would the dream vacation be? Somewhere, I'd say like, I kind of like the snow a lot.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that it's really cold. So, man, Denver is always like an awesome spot to travel to. I love that. And maybe just somewhere I haven't been before. Like maybe somewhere in like Japan, or like Switzerland, something like that. Some place that's like beautiful. Canada I kind of want to go to as well.
Canada seems cool.
Yeah. The more popular, like the bigger cities I'd want to go to. What was I gonna say? I'm drawing a blank. What's your favorite pair of shoes you've ever worn?
Oh my god, I can't remember the name. I had them in middle school. They were like these crimson.
Alright, I don't know what happened there. It gets cut off, but yeah, we got just a couple more minutes. Yeah, I was saying, what's your favorite pair of shoes that you've worn? And you said, going?
Honestly, thinking on it, probably when I first got my first pair of Converse. Those were just like, they just have like main character energy on them. Like, I can't explain it. Like, I put on my Converses and I'm like, I'm the main character.
Oh my god. I remember I had a pair of Converses like once back in the day, and they just ended up not really being all that comfortable to me. I don't know what it was about them, but
they're not really comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I wear mine with no socks because they're just not comfortable with like socks on. They're just too tight, and it's like, bro, like, I can't be bothered. Like, but you just put them on, you just feel like you're the main character in a movie, and I'm like, yep,
that makes sense, dude. Yeah. It's that kind of shoe where it's like, it turns you into that kind of person.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you would wear Converses. Back at it again with the white Converses.
Oh.
Dude, yeah.
we were in the airport at Dancefestopia, and Stu was like, "Ethan, you're not the main character." I was like, "Who told you that? Of course I'm the main character."
Yo,
Did you not remember that conversation?
Randomly telling you that?
I can't remember what it was. He was like, "Oh, the world doesn't revolve around you," or something. I was like, "Stu, I'm the main character."
Yo.
Yes, it does.
Hit him back with some princess energy. Yeah. No, it's my world and y'all live in it.
I share it with you guys.
Oh my god, dude.
It was when we were all in the airport boarding that like first plane out of Kansas. Like, no, it was when we just got, I can't remember what it was. We boarded so many planes that week. Like, that was, oh my god.
Just when you're like feeling like good about yourself in life, there's always somebody that's just gonna be like, I'm gonna bring you down a couple rungs here. Just like lower that self-esteem a little bit, why don't you? You're making me feel bad.
Stu was trying to humble me on that one.
You're like, man, don't kill my vibe.
What was like the biggest eye-opening thing for you at Dance Fest? Like, did you have like any like aha moments at Dance Fest?
At Dance Fest, man, I think it was really a lot of the live experiences, like listening to the music, like what it sounds like, you know, the composition of it, like kind of just sitting back and looking at people like headbang to like all this crazy stuff that you would never imagine so many people would come to collectively headbang to. And yeah, just like that overall vibe, just being like, man, music has come such a long way. Like, people get down with like this kind of music, and it sort of inspired me on a new sort of sound. Like, I dug into going a little bit harder because of Dance Fest specifically. Like, I've been to other festivals and whatnot, but it really spoke to me. Oh, what? Internal temp high, allow it to cool? Well, that's different. I haven't seen that before. But say what, we'll wrap it up on this question. Same question right back to you. Like, what really spoke to you about Dance Fest?
Okay, so this is like something I won't admit often, but it was eye-opening in the fact that I'm looking at these headliners, like these guys are at the top of the game. And as a raw DJ, as like beat matching, like chops, like talent for the board, I'm looking at Subtronics and I'm going, I know I can do what you do. Like, I know the only difference between us right now is you can produce a million times better than me. Like, as a raw talent DJ, like with my vibe, the way I play with the energy, the way I mix, the way like my festival flow, like I know I'm at that level.
Yeah, dude.
And it was really like, that's kind of what drove me to dive deeper into production. I'm like, all I need to do is learn how to produce, and I know I can like emulate, if not do better than what's going on at the top of the game right now. Like, they're good and they've earned their top of the game. Shout out to them, respect to them. But it's like, I feel like Subtronics with that Kadamo, like he just knows he's up next, and I know like at some point we'll be back to backing, like, you know, like the biggest names in the game. Like, we'll be hitting huge sets, or like I'll be getting invited to collab. Like, you just like, it's like you gotta know in a way. And that was like I can finally see it. Like, I would stare at that stage, that Emerald stage, and I just see myself up there, and like I'd see myself pointing back at me in the crowd, like,
what?
You should be here.
Oh, that's
it's
a
like
cool vision.
Yeah, like, and I see it all the time. Like, I see EDC all the time. Like, I feel like big into manifesting it. Like, the more you manifest it, the more you talk it into reality, and the more you align, the more likely it is to happen.
I really dig that. That's like one of my favorite things about you, is just like that sort of like confidence and belief in yourself. Like, it does kind of, I think success really stems from that headspace. Like, if you don't really believe in yourself like that, then how are you supposed to come up with those results? You know, it's like, it's very much that kind of thing, and I love that. And yeah, and I know that you're gonna excel so much, dude. Like, I can't wait to see more music that you produce and release. I can't wait to work on another song with you.
Yeah, we got a song coming soon. We'll be dropping teasers soon.
Amen.
We got some time.
Straight up. Well, yeah, dude, we can even do a part 2 of this podcast later. I've done 2-hour podcast before. And yeah, right now though, we got to go pick up In Orbit's dubs from the airport. So thank y'all for listening. This is episode 33. Is there anything you want to say on your way out? Maybe like your socials?
Thank you for having me. Shout out Philip again, Dblcrwn. Big love to One Sense. Shout out Save the Universe. Shout out Viveview.
Shout out.
Find me on Instagram at DJ XTC official. If not, it'll pop up on the feed when it's supposed to.
Yeah. All right. How about one closing word? What would it be?
Believe.